I have lived here for almost 5 years now. It's actually feels very surreal to say it out loud. And I just feel like maybe now it's a good time for me to give an honest review about Ghana, because I think I have lived long enough to pass the honeymoon phase of loving everything about Ghana, and also I haven't been living here too long that everything becomes normal. First, how I ended up being in Ghana. It was never my intention to actually move to Ghana. I always knew I have to come here because my husband is from Ghana, and I knew that eventually we will come here to visit his family or to come for a vacation, because we both were living in China and we both didn't really have a plan of relocating to Ghana. But everything changed when my husband decided to come back, and the year followed by that, I decided to visit him. And then I visited, and I mean, so many things happened, but long story short, I decided to stay longer than 2 months that I initially planned. Then we started our journey of living here. So because I never really thought or planned of living here long term, I came, I guess, with a really open mind of really trying to explore Ghana and really trying to see what this place is about. And honestly, I would say the first 2-3 years, I was really in this honeymoon phase. I was in this phase where everything was nice, the food was nice. I mean, the food is still nice, but like it was more nice. Everything was sweet. I don't know how to put it, but everything felt really sweet until like some reality started hitting me. And I feel like now there are some conclusions that I've gotten to, and I think maybe this video will help others who are planning to relocate to Ghana or are planning to maybe visit for a longer period of time to Ghana. Maybe this will help them. So here are my honest, realistic observations that I've made over the past 5 years. First, never ever challenge or be rude to police officers, military officers, immigration officers, and number 4, elderly people. So when it comes to policemen, soon after you move to Ghana, you realize that they are different from what you imagined of a police officer. When it comes to police officers, you have to learn a whole new language. What I mean by that is that when they stop you and they ask for your documents, there's a whole different way of approach. Like, it's not like, okay, so these are your documents, you have your license and whatever, you can go or you may not go. It's more of like, you have to have a conversation, you have to have a smile on your face, you have to, like, have the conversation going. Otherwise, things can really not go well. These are kind of skills that I guess you will learn after a few years of living here. You will have to learn it naturally. I cannot really give you a tip. Immigration officers and military officers. I think like any kind of civil workers in Ghana, they know they have some sort of power over you, especially if you're a foreigner. So there are people who are going to abuse it, and there are people who won't abuse it. But then in case you run into someone who's going to abuse it, there are again ways of going about it. So like where I come from, let's say I would just go like, hey, according to what law or what regulation are you telling me that I have to pay this amount of money to get my visa done? And that's the wrong way to do things here. You have to kind of be like, oh, so how can we help each other? Again, you have to learn this naturally. You can go against it. It's up to you. But then sooner or later, Ghana will teach you that's just how things work. And lastly, with elderly people. I think this was the most difficult part for me because in my culture, we respect elders. Like, we have a different language of even calling elders. That's how much we respect. The truth is, in Ghana, the elderly person is always right. There is no like, maybe he's not right. He's always right. And the sooner you get comfortable with this idea, the better it is. And the positive way of thinking about it is that when you become old in Ghana, people will respect you, hopefully. The second thing, I think, is the patience. So anyone asks me, what has Ghana taught you? I always say patience, in a good and bad way. So I feel like in Ghana, a lot of things don't happen on time. Let's say if you're invited to a wedding or any other event at 4 p.m., it doesn't start until 6 p.m. If you are waiting for a friend and you have scheduled a meeting maybe like 10 a.m., the person will definitely show up like 10:30, 11 a.m. And I think after a while, you just get used to this. You just realize that's how things work. There's nothing you can do about it. So next time you go to an event, you also will be late. Let's say your tailor says, I will prepare your dress in 3 working days. That means he will make it done in 5 working days. The driver says, I'm on my way, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Expect 20 minutes. I feel like it's an unwritten rule that all Ghanaians know. So when someone says, oh, I'm working on it, it will be done in like an hour, they know that it's not an hour. Like they're okay with it. It's just you that you're not okay with it. So you have to also, I think, understand that things are in a different pace and you have to adjust yourself with it. It's not going to change. Just accept it. Number 3 is the language. So as you may know, in Ghana, there are so many languages. The official language though is English, and most people can speak English. But I think that would be a plus for your life, your quality of your life in Ghana, if you can speak or understand one of the mainly dialect or mainly spoken languages like Twi or Ga. In my case, I have not been able to learn a lot, but I think I've gotten to the point that I understand. This is a very hard truth, but in a lot of cases, if you're a foreigner in Ghana, people are going to talk about you, and in so many cases, not in the best way. I don't know, I just feel like sometimes people find it funny that you don't understand the language, so they might say something that is in their mind. Just laugh among themselves, not with a bad intention, I would say, but I mean, of course, it's hurtful. In my case, it had worked a lot of times when I understood what the person says, and I just confront them like, hey, ha ha ha, like I understood my trees like kakra kakra, but I get your kakra, right? In the previous points that I said, like having a sort of interaction with civil workers, like let's say policemen, some of the Chi words will really come handy. Let's say if you know what you did was wrong and the policeman stopped you, something like facheme, me pacho facheme, right? Which is like, oh, please forgive me, would really suit the mood. And the policeman, in most cases, would be like, okay, but like, don't repeat it again. You are somewhere, you're late, and the person is like taking forever to do what they're supposed to do. You can just, oh, me pacho, maya late, right? And the person will be like, oh, so you speak Twi. I'm just saying that it will make your life 10 times easier, believe me when I say it. My long-term goal is to learn Twi finally and be able to at least, the basics, like how are you doing, how was your day, today I came to do this, basic. And I feel like people give you a sort of a different level of respect when they feel like you are respecting their language and their culture. Next point is to appreciate the local food. When you respect someone's food, you are respecting the person's culture. I see it a lot of times, and I understand, but a lot of people, because they don't know much about African food or Ghanaian food in this case, when they come, they have this kind of judgmental mindset about Ghanaian food. And like, oh, they eat with their hand. I feel like it's disrespectful. What I suggest is that you start with some food that are easily adaptable to foreigners. Let's say jollof, which is basically rice, tomato, herbs, and onions. You can try with that one, and little by little, try other food. I feel like the more you appreciate it, people can also feel it. And I think food is something that really connects people to each other. So let's say if someone cooks for you and you really appreciate the person's cooking, there's already some sort of relationship built between you and the person. And I also think there are some herbs, there's some kind of medicine here that could also help you a lot. Like a lot of organic things are here. For instance, I remember when COVID first happened and I had COVID, I remember my mother-in-law giving me neem, like the drink, and it was super bitter. And I was a bit hesitant. I was like, I don't know, like I've never tried it, I've never heard of it. But then it really helped me. So I think sometimes you have to trust the medicine as well. Not all of them, but some of them. because there's some medicine out there, like, I don't know, I saw once like follow me like a dog, or like these sexual things. I don't think you should trust those ones, but trust the ones that people have been using for years. And the last point is the differences. One thing that I really tried to adjust to was all the differences that I was feeling here, in terms of the way people greet each other. So let's say where I am from, we normally, like, we pass by each other. Unless you know the person, you won't greet them or you won't smile at them. Like, there's no need to do that. But here is something very important, especially around elders. Like, you have to be able to say good morning, good afternoon, or at least have a small conversation if you're sitting next to someone. And I feel like that's something I had to adjust to. There are so many other things like religion. I mean, I come from a dominant Muslim country, but again, the way we practice it is not as intense as it is here. Like, I see among Muslims here, they're very intense with Islam, and with Christianity is like a whole different level of intensity that I was never used to. And it took me a while to get used to, I don't know, someone getting up in a public bus and start preaching, or someone taking a speaker 7 a.m. and start preaching without considering if others are into that religion or not. I think that's also a very difficult topic in Ghana. People can really get heated up with that conversation. They get really like, I'm Christian and you are Muslim. I don't hang out with this person because he's this type of Christian, he's this type of Muslim. I feel like there's a lot of division I also see. But again, for me, the most difficult part was to adjust to this and not make a comment about it. I think that was the most difficult thing. There are other differences, like I would say culturally, many things culturally. The way people even argue, like if let's say you receive a bad customer service, if you start getting angry, the person will just delay you more and more. Like, these are the kind of instances that I feel like you just have to adjust. There is no way for you not to change it. And the sooner you realize that most things might never change, and it's okay if they don't change, because it has been working like this for many years. It will work like this for many more years, and it will be fine. And you're not here to change anything. You're here just to adjust. I think that's a very difficult concept to get to, but the sooner you get there, the sooner you will have a mental peace. And I have seen many foreigners who were never able to get there, and they had to leave, because I think at some point it just gets too much if you're not able to adjust to all the differences. And I don't think it's only Ghana. I think it's any other country that you move to, and the values or your set of belief or anything is too different. So overall, I would say there are so many things that would affect your stay in Ghana. Main thing would be economy. I would say that economy, since I moved here, has drastically changed, not for good. I remember when I first moved to Ghana, $1 was 5 cities, 5.6 if I'm not wrong, and now it's 16 cities, which is crazy. Like, it's just very difficult to get used to, because once you get used to the first price, then the changes come next, and like the fuel price as well keeps changing, and makes it very difficult, to be honest. And I think that's something that makes a lot of people move out of country. If you see a lot of Ghanaians abroad, I don't think it's because they don't like Ghana. I think in a lot of cases it's the economy that gives you no option but to leave. And it's sad, because only this year we had to say goodbye to a lot of family and friends. A lot of people around us left. Most of my friends in Ghana left, and it's sad, but that's life. I mean, there's nothing you can do. People have to go to a place where they feel good. But for me, if someone asks whether I want to stay in Ghana for good, I always find it very difficult to answer to this question, because it's still not something that I would say, yes, forever and ever, Ghana for life. I think it's very difficult for me to say that, though I love Ghana, I love my life, and as Ghanaians say, by grace of God, my business has been going well. But I think there are things that you never predict in life. And I'm always open to opportunities, and I'm always open to try new things. So if there's an opportunity one day to leave Ghana and live somewhere else, definitely I would take it. But I would definitely always come back to Ghana to at least stay a few months and enjoy the heat and the food in Ghana. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helped you. I hope it gave you some idea about Ghana. And to my Ghanaian people who are watching this video, Nyamashrawo Medase. Thank you for all the support that you've given to this channel. It really means a lot. And I hope, because this year is the election year, I hope that things go well with our NDC and PP. I don't know much about the two parties. Anyhow, I think the best comes out for Ghana. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.